Now let's talk threshold or durability training. So as athletes, we're probably a special breed already and we've got a lot of mental toughness, and that's why we turn up, because we actually want to extend that and get stronger and get better at that. So durability and threshold training is around one, building that mindset for endurance and toughness, but it's also about physiological change. It's about taking the force that we developed in the high intensity training and the aerobic training that enables us to go long with a really efficient metabolic system, and bringing that together. So it's about power. Power is force over time, and threshold training gives us exactly that. What we do is we're working on sustained energy, so enabling our body or preparing our body to supply lots of fuel efficiently to our muscles, and then processing that efficiently and being able to remove the waste quickly enough to make it a sustainable process. It is about muscular durability, but it's also about a metabolic durability as well. It is the suffering mindset or a discomfort mindset. And when we do durability or threshold training, we do get uncomfortable, and we've got to be prepared to do that. So whether we're doing intervals or a long threshold run, ride, or whatever sport we're doing, we are going to go to a place that we need to hold on and be uncomfortable for a reasonable amount of time. Generally, it's associated with upper zone 4 and lower zone 5. So it's around that threshold, anaerobic threshold, where we actually push in the muscles to be sustainable. The anaerobic threshold is basically a pace you can sustain for an hour in race conditions in the right race mindset. So if we operate just below or just above that, we are potentially going to get burning muscles. We're going to feel lactates in the muscles, and that feel of lactates in the muscles makes us know that we're actually building up waste, and we're learning how to process that lactic acid waste through the muscles. So we can operate below that if we want to do an extended session of, say, an hour and a half. But if we actually doing shorter intervals, we could get that burning to happen a lot earlier in shorter periods. About 10 to 15% of our training is generally in threshold training. So 10% in general through our base phase. When you move into build phase, it may build into 15% of our training. Generally, we're operating in intervals of between 4 and 90 minutes. So for instance, in 4 minutes, we might be doing 6 repeats of 4 minutes with 2 minutes recovery in between, where we're really pushing our systems so that we just make the 4 minutes. It is going to be at a threshold that at a pace where halfway through we must start getting uncomfortable and think maybe we're not going to make that interval. And then the second half of it, we really push through and make it anyway. That's the range we want to be in. And in that range, what we're doing is we're really using those muscles to the maximum sustainable power for the duration. It really builds the systems that are required to supply and remove the waste and make us more efficient. It's also about mental tenacity. When we're operating in this stage, at this level, it's going to get uncomfortable, and it's going to get, there's going to be an element of suffering in it, and we get used to it. And our mindset, we start preparing ourselves for the back end of races where it does get tough, and how to absorb that discomfort and that suffering. And at the end of the day, that's why we're there. That's why we signed up for endurance races, to see how long we can endure the discomfort and the suffering and the longer elements of the race. So it's really an essential part of the training, and as I said, it's probably best done in the latter latter half of training and lead up to a race, because it prepares us well. It's a good idea to mimic the environment we're going to race in as well while we're doing this type of training, at least for some of your training. And that if you're going to be racing in humid conditions, try, if you can, turn up and actually do some training in that, because again it just induces that level of suffering in the same conditions you're going to race. If it's a hilly race you're going into, yes, do some of your threshold training on hilly courses, so you can prepare the mind and the body for those type of elements. The visualization is important. More important, in aerobic you're going long, you want to stay calm, so you don't want to use visualization because you're actually trying to build a cardiovascular system, one of calmness, one of that's going to cause capillarization, etc. In threshold, you actually want to visualize race day and pushing near the end of the race, pushing hard, enduring the suffering. So you want to actually bring that level of visualization to actually pull you through that race, that session, and the adaptations. Breathing is important, and you want to balance out aerobic and anaerobic. So breathing is an important element of the aerobic system, and you're trying to get the most out of that system while you're using the anaerobic system as well. It is an all-out session. It's one that you do need to turn up with the correct mindset to actually push hard, and endure the time periods or whatever intervals you set up to do. Not a good idea to do these sessions with injuries. You are pushing limits, you are pushing boundaries. If you're fatigued, feeling weak, best not to do them. You're not going to get the best out of the session. If you're carrying injuries, particularly muscle strains and things like that, you are pushing the boundaries of those as well. So again, stay away from this type of session if you're doing that, or maybe just use threshold sessions and other elements of it, and leaving out the muscle groups that may be injured or suffering. Recovery, you need a big recovery window into these sessions. So if you're doing threshold, it's going to take a lot out of you, and make sure when you leave that session, you have got a defined recovery period after that session, and you have nutrition in terms of protein and carbohydrates, because you would have burnt through a lot of carbohydrates in the threshold session. That's the definition of it. Protein as well, you would be going through muscle breakdown in these types of session. Get some good protein afterwards. That said, remember, threshold and durability absolutely essential for endurance. It is actually what we do. It sets up for that. Other elements, like development of force, are really important from high intensity training. Aerobic training for creating a good metabolic system that's going to see us through long distances. But the rubber hits the road in the durability sessions. Absolutely essential we do these.